Hey guys, good evening. The Power Hour begins, and I'm just trying to kind of figure things out, get things situated. I want to make sure that the dang orientation. Okay. All right, I guess my phone only wants to do it this way, so just bear with me for a moment. I mentioned in that little impromptu stream I did recently that if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it from my phone for the time being. It's just a little bit easier. So I will get this fixed and situated real fast. For those of you who are curious, I am actually using my camcorder mount. And really? You're really going to tell me to rotate? I literally just rotated. Let's see if I can fix this. Only the best photos. All right, awesome, fantastic. Hi, Indie Kitty, good evening. Yeah, I am really excited that they let me change this up a little bit so that 13-year-olds who have a parent who take the class with them can participate, and 16-year-olds with parental consent can participate. Most of my workshops are kind of all ages workshops. I just don't like teaching super young kids. Like, I'm not really good with toddlers necessarily. So I'm really glad that they let me open it up. So how are y'all? How are you guys doing this evening? I am going to grab something to share with y'all. It's a request form. So I thought I could start the stream off with doing a couple of drawing requests. Somebody already sent in a question, which I really appreciate. And since YouTube is kind of funny about letting people submit their links, I set up a Google form for this. So hopefully that'll work a little bit better. Can I do a purple cat? Yeah, I think so. So what are you guys up to this evening? I was painting some pages before the stream started. Oh, I'm glad you're enjoying it, Julie. Julie or Julianne, which one do you prefer? There's a second part to the whiteout demo. I'm waiting on Chris to finish editing it that I'm really excited about. The whiteout demo was just to sort of give me an idea of what to expect from those products. And the comparison I did shows better how they actually hand out. All right. Thanks. I'm glad I sound happy. I had a migraine earlier today and it finally went away, so I'm grateful to be feeling better. Although it might make me a little goofy or I might formulate sentences strangely. That's why. Yes, she has a pet gecko named Dusty. So you know those house geckos that like climb all over the windows and all over the doors if you live in kind of warmer climates? She's got one of those as a pet. Okay, so, hey, how are you? Getting the most out of them. Give me a couple of minutes to think about that. Getting the most out of them. I guess it depends. Are you looking to use them with other watercolor stuff? Are you looking to use them with alcohol markers? Like, how are you looking to use your Derwent? And Joseph, my fiance, will be moderating for us tonight. Thank you, Joseph. Alright, so purple, and I want like a yellow-green for the eyes. Well, hopefully y'all are staying warm tonight. Hi, Ashley. Good evening. Yes. Hi. How are you? Thank you. India requested a purple kitty to get us started. Ooh, this is like about dead. Gross. I'm gonna have to refill that. Oh, neat. Indy, you're working in a... I've never even tried using them that way. I'm going to give that a shot. That sounds neat. Ecoline makes a colorless blender marker that's a little bit juicier than the Tombow if you're finding the Tombow to be kind of dry and scratchy. Although it being a little drier is probably makes it a little easier to control it. Yeah, I'm in the same position where I've been using more watercolor than markers lately. For a while, actually. If you guys want to share links to your art, you can pop it in this doc, and I'll have Joseph put it in the chat so everybody can see it, because he's a mod, and that way. Oh man, Rudy Bitterman's art is so nice. Actually. Nope, wait. Not the right person, but similar. I was about to say, I have their art book. I don't. I have this art book, though, which is gorgeous, and I've been kind of, wait, no, it's the same person, isn't it? Why am I tripping myself out like that? But it's got gorgeous watercolor art in it, and I've been kind of saving it as a treat to flip through when I have time to kind of process the art. Blenders for water-based markers, I would assume, are glycerin. A lot of them are not very forthcoming about the materials in them. Whereas blenders for alcohol markers are usually, actually, let me see if I can get, here, I'll leave this up while I look for the link, or while I try to ping someone who would be able to answer that question maybe a little bit better. Oh. Yeah, it's really gorgeous. And if you like illustration-esque watercolor, I think it's H. Keelia. Let me see if I can find it. Indy, I would say that wouldn't hurt. Most water-based markers use glycerin as kind of an extender and to allow for blending, so I can't really see that hurting. I mean, the most you're out is like the $2 you would have paid for the blender marker. And you can get glycerin on Amazon, or, I mean, probably in person at stores too, although I haven't necessarily seen it myself. Probably just looking in the wrong section. Okay, let me grab a link. I know I follow them on Twitter. And they when they're painting a lot, they do a lot of demonstrations. Oh man, why can't I ever find what I'm looking for? That is for sure, Julie. Or like you're all tucked in for a weekend of work and you've got a deadline on Monday and you've decided, oh, I'm going to do it in water-based marker, and it dies and there's no stores around that carry it. That's a very scientific approach to that, Joseph. You are welcome to come and do that to my markers. In fact, I have a V20 that sure feels like it wants to die or be dead. That is not a good purple match. I should have swatched it first. In my head, I was seeing it as like a tuxedo cat, except with like different shades of purple that all look like they go with each other instead of a very purple. That's a Blick purple. I know I've complained about like Copic not having really good true purples. Blick's got some really good true purples. Like my plan was to like kind of blend this in together. We'll see how that goes. Now it looks kind of like a little superhero cat. try to salvage it. It was cute. And someone sent in a request question earlier about conveying, like, drawing surface patterns on forms, and I'm going to get to that. I've not forgotten. And then the other purpose for the request form is if anybody has like original characters from like a comic or a book, or maybe a favorite character, or they'd like to see their kids drawn or their pets drawn, what have you. That's the other purpose of the request form, is so that people can submit links that way, since YouTube is just trying to protect the people streaming from getting like a bunch of weird links or iffy links. So that's just kind of an easy way for me to be able to get the reference without YouTube making us jump through too many hoops. And look, so we've got, I don't know if it's showing up on camera, but it's more of a red violet, and then when it dries more purple, which is what I was looking for anyway. And part of it is how harsh all the transitions are. If I can blend them out a little bit without it looking horrible. Yeah, adult links would be about what I think YouTube is trying to prevent. Or like people spamming somebody else's stream with like, come check out my channel. Which I think has its time and place. I'm definitely... I don't know what I did to this poor cat. There's definitely times where I want people to be able to send me their stuff because I like looking at other people's art. Gotta find a better in-between purple. Let's see if iridescent mauve or mauve. I went to visit my mom and she was like, no, it's mauve, which I've always heard it as mauve, so I don't know. That's kind of almost a good in-between color, almost. So when I'm doing surface patterns, there's a couple of things I keep in mind. If it's something, I've done a lot of them from reference, like I've spent a lot of time doing figure studies, figure drawings of people wearing clothing, and I used to really struggle with sort of getting fabric to seem like it's wrapping around the person wearing it. So I spent a lot of time drawing people wearing patterned clothing, like checkered clothing and flowered clothing, stuff like that. So putting that kind of time in, wow, I don't know what I did to this cat. Putting that time in has helped a lot. just doing studies in like black and white or color pencil, just like really simple stuff. So I can kind of get used to drawing the pattern as it goes around the form. Miss Kitty, what did I do to you? Meow. I could see that. I definitely have a thing for Lucky Cats. So that's probably why I draw the one paw up and beg a lot. We can say it's Gwen. Just gone like full commit with my mistakes in life. Oh, there's, how many do we have? How many do I have? 3? Requests or people asking for demonstrations? Requests? Okay. I'll finish this up and then I'll get on to that then. Yes, please do. I wish. 10 is definitely a party. Oh yeah, I never even colored the collar. Something I always liked about inking is that it kind of cheats and makes everything look a little bit more put together. Ah, no problem, Indy. I will not forget the whiskers. I've got P.H. Martin's Bleed Proof White, so I can do that, in fact. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That is true. Well, drawing porn would definitely make you very spot on with anatomy. That would also make you spot on with anatomy. Well, you must love it, Julie, if you've been doing it for 41 years. A true calling. Okay, so those lines to me look a little too thin, and that was the Neopico line white. So I'm going to use the Kuretake one. And this one is actually, I mean, you like in concept it's very cool, but like I'm squeezing it, you know, and I'm not really getting a lot of juice. It's very prone to clogging. Like I was very, very excited about this one. Oh, okay, so I'd use the Neopico line white. Those are the really fine lines. Then I use Kuretake has recently released a white brush pen, and I don't know what its official name is. It's in Japanese. Unfortunately, I don't read any. Hey, how are you, Madeline? So now I'm going to use my old favorite Bleed Proof White. I've already added some water in it to get it going again. And this is a Raphael Soft Aqua. It's a synthetic because I've been trying to find good synthetics. It's a little bit soft for this though. I'm going to have to go grab a stiffer synthetic. I mean, you see how much it's kind of like poofed out? Oh, that would be Indy's suggestion. So thank you again, Indy. All right. Those are not synthetic. Oh, wait. This will work. All right, I'm gonna try to do the whiskers again. All right, I'm gonna let that cat dry. Do I have a absolute favorite art supply? Oh gosh, that's a really good question. I say oh gosh because it's like, where do I even start? I mean it varies. Which one are you looking at, Ashley? I would put my cat on the screen, but he does not like cameras. Where is he? There he is. Aw. I'm gonna set this aside to dry. Favorite art supply is that the art supply I use most, or my actual favorite, or what I recommend other people like. Oh, unfortunately, Ashley, you know that you've been drawing adult material for a long time, so you know just as well as I know that that happens. That's life. Oh, actually. I've got some resources that I'm going to link for you guys. And then I'll grab some of my favorite tools in general, even though they're not necessarily the things I use all the time. Oh my gosh. Okay, stranded on an island forever favorite art supply. So I can only take one, and I guess does that mean I don't get paper? Okay. If I don't get paper, then I would just bring like a regular sketchbook and I would try to make charcoal out of coconut husks. I know there's a site that does photography of people moving like Muybridge used to do, and it's like bodies in motion, figures in motion, and I'm trying to find it. It's a reference site. You do pay for a subscription, but there's a lot of stuff available for free, and I really like that site right now. Bodies. Strathmore Island. Hey, Kino Kitsune. We had a question earlier about blender markers. It was really about water-based blender markers, but you could answer, I know you could answer more towards alcohol-based blender markers. Do you happen to know what alcohols they use and what extenders they use? It's okay if you don't. I know we've talked about this in the past. just collect enough island cat hair that you can bind into a paintbrush. Right? There's coconut trees and cats on the island. Oh, there is bleed through. All right, so while y'all are doing that in the chat, I'm going to go ahead and start demonstrating sort of wrapping a surface design around an object. So I need to extend this. I need a power pole extend this. We're going to start with something kind of basic. We're going to start with a cylinder. So if I'm doing like a surface design, I'm thinking about how the form, like the direction of the form. So it's curved in this direction and then it's straight across. So if I wanted to do like a checkered pattern on it, which is pretty basic, I can do straight lines going across. Don't have to worry about those too much. And then I have to curve my lines as I follow the curve of the cylinder, right? And practicing like checks and ginghams and plaids, it's a really good way to kind of get a feel for surfaces. And now let's say I want to go across this way, right? So this is at an angle, so I need to make sure that my lines are diagonal. And then this wouldn't necessarily go straight across. This would actually cut through like that. So it wouldn't be kind of a perfect lineup. So cylinders are pretty easy. Let's try doing a cube, similar thing. And it's helpful, in my opinion, to practice with objects that don't have a bunch of curved forms just to begin with, as you're kind of training your brain to think about it. So I'm going to start with just straight lines. And I think about wrapping them around the shape like you would a present, kind of. Now I'm kind of flipping myself out because I tricked my own eyes. So those are both kind of simple ways of thinking about it. So let's do something a little more complicated. We have a conical shape here. This is actually going to be a skirt. And I'm sketching in just some really, really basic folds to the skirt. So if I were to do a stripe or a gingham kind of pattern, I would still follow the folds of the fabric. The reason I start off with this is because this is, to me, this is one of the easiest ways to kind of visualize how the fabric's moving. So it curves in as the skirt flares, and then as we get to the top, which really the folds would be really, really tight, but I didn't draw them that way because I'm lazy. It gets less extreme because it's just mimicking the waistband. And then I would have the vertical stripes kind of swooshing out, following the lines of the skirt as well. So that's kind of a very, very basic way to kind of think about how the fabric moves. Give me a sec and let me get caught up with the conversation. Oh, no, I don't know how to needle felt at all. I would believe it, especially if you're good at it. Yeah, I've never needle felted. That was like a little bit after my time, I guess. Yes, find your angles. Yeah, exactly. And if it helps, like I've also used to do a lot of just kind of drawing things from life. And when I draw objects like this, I'll also draw the labels. Oh, I'm getting white on me. I'll also draw the labels. And that kind of helps my brain think about drawing that kind of stuff in perspective. It's not something that comes naturally to me, so it's something I really had to work to be able to do at all. Yeah, like gluing a pattern to a thing. Yeah, like drawing a floral skirt. And if you give me a second to clean this up, I can do a floral skirt. That was one of my requests, was surface design. So often if I'm drawing patterns, I will pull up some reference. I have like a big Etsy board with clothing reference for my characters, and I will usually pick something that kind of fits what I'm looking to draw. So I'm going to draw like a really, 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 really basic kind of dress. Okay, so our curves, and I apologize, I'll draw way down here. Our curves are moving like this. And when I do surface design, I have to think really simply because my brain starts to kind of flip out on me. And there's some really basic shapes I use when I'm drawing florals if I'm not referencing something. So for roses, I'll do like a really kind of cheap, it's like that kind of flower watercolor painting that's really popular right now, where people use the brush to do most of the mark making. I actually think it's really pretty, which is why I draw it a lot. But it's also very simple, and it works really well for these kind of patterns because you don't have to practice them. You're not drawing a specific flower. So. Like this. I hope it's showing up. And it doesn't even, like, what's also nice about these is they don't have to be precise. They don't have to be good. You're just kind of hinting. And then I will add in, am I off camera? Oh, thank you. I'll add in leaves and stuff. So for a lot of my flowers, I draw something really easy that's very simple to recreate. Or I'll often do like the little 5-petal daisy, you know, and I'll literally just paint little circles and then leave the center open and then paint that yellow. Or I will start with the center, and then after that is dried, I'll paint the petals around that. I mean, you don't have to wait until the paint's dry, but if you're painting really small, wet into wet, you can kind of lose everything that you've painted. And then also, I'll do kind of like where it can kind of look like lavender. So for florals, I just generally, if I'm doing clothing, especially like in 7-inch Kara kind of clothing, I will do really, really simple kind of stuff. Because I usually will have to, you know, repeat it over several panels. So I also try to remember where I put things. And I also, especially for Kara stuff, I try to do my florals really big. I happen to like wearing big florals myself, so I don't know, maybe that's tacky and I don't know better. But I like really big patterns myself. So I'm kind of, you see how there's folds there? I'm making sure I put some of my flower on the fold because that kind of implies that we have like fabric that's kind of moving. And often I'll carry it over to the other side of the fold, but I'll leave a little bit of a gap. And when I'm painting these sort of patterns, I will paint the base color of the dress and then paint in the shadows. And then once all that's dried, I'll paint this on top of it. And the reason I do that is if you can glaze over these sort of patterns, but it's going to kind of disrupt the pigments. And that can be really good if you're painting something that's in shadow. Because, you know, things wouldn't be so visibly precise if you're in a shadow or if you're viewing an object in shadow. Yes, I like big patterns because I draw small, and it means I have to paint less of it. Because I already filled up all the space. You can also do like little 3 bud kind of things here and there. And you don't have to, I mean, you can if you want to. If you enjoy filling up the space, you definitely can fill up the whole space. But you don't have to feel like you're obligated to fill up the whole space. How are you liking it, Ashley? As a hobby, I mean. One of the reasons I've never taken it up is because I have cats, and it would just be all cat hair. There'd be no felt, it would be cat hair. Actually, that skirt turned out kind of pretty. Yeah, that's true. A lot of floral fabric is white background. So with that, you might add just like a little bit. I'm not going to do it necessarily, or maybe I will because I live that life. But you could use like a Payne's gray or like a light blue, and just sort of. And I'm doing it wet into wet because I'm kind of hoping I'll pick up some of that and just make mud. Oh no, Kitty wants something. That doesn't surprise me. It's so, cat hair is so soft and fine. No problem, Julie. Is there, I do know I have other requests I gotta do, but is there any other kind of surface design you want to see me do really quick? I say, hoping the watercolor would dry faster so I could do a plaid, but no. You can also, with big flowers like this, you can also go back in and do other layers of detail to kind of make it more complete. I don't know. Yeah, that is not going to dry in time. Let us see what other requests I have tonight. Oh, Google, show me the responses. Ooh. Oh, all right. Oh, cute babies. I'm opening up the reference, sorry. Oh, yes. All right. No, the reference isn't going to be on camera. Just because I have never really mastered the art of screen capture. There always seems to be some really dumb problem that happens when I do screen capture. All right, so we are going to start with Kino Kitsune's Aster and Fox, and I get to pick. And Kitsune knows that if I get to pick, I always draw Aster. Welcome, welcome. Good evening. And I'm going to drop a link for Kino Kitsune's comic. Is my internet connection timing out? Aster is the adorable girl. Fox is the handsome guy. It says edit. Try again. What? I know I'm still streaming. Or I hope I'm still streaming. I was gonna pop a link in, but I will let Joseph do that. And I will start sketching. Indie Kitty, that sounds really cool. I had to parse it a couple times, but that makes sense because Inktense is supposedly indelible, and I think people will use it to paint on silk. So that should look really cool. Hmm. Donut like. Yeah, I have a loud keyboard. I'm sorry. It gives really nice tactile feedback, but it is super loud. And that was me trying to pop in a link to Kino Kitsune's comic, and then having YouTube kept bouncing it back, so I had to get Joseph to send it. Oh no, I don't think you're chatting too much at all. It's just hard for me to draw and keep up. My peripheral vision is terrible. So I appreciate somebody keeping things happen. That's like me with people's names in anime, so I have to give them really dumb nicknames. Yes. Ooh, one foot's bigger than the other. No. So on Twitter, there's all of these memes, like all of these running inside joke kind of things, where artists will talk about people wanting free art and how best to get free art, which is usually befriend the artist and you will probably get free art. But I think truly the best way to get free art is to go to streams, because a lot of people will take drawing requests to kind of get the day going. Yep, that is true, Julianne. And that's why a lot of people will use Inktense for underpaintings. Like the Inktense blocks, they might do a grisé underpainting, which is when you paint like gray or kind of a neutral tone. So you're painting your shadows first and then you paint your watercolor on top of it. And I keep meaning to try Inktense out in that way. And that was my phone buzzing. I am really sorry about that. I think do not disturb is probably an important thing for next time. What am I using? I'm using a Terra Cutie. I'm using a Prismacolor in terracotta. And I really should have done this on my Tone Tan sketchbook, because this would look a lot cuter on Tone Tan paper. See, I want to draw a halo of comic relevant things, but I don't want... Oh, did it stop? Oh, I see. There we go. My camcorder activated my phone. I gotta get a better mount for this. Yeah, but that wouldn't be hard. I have lots of white accent products. We will surround Aster with books that we know to be romance novels. Yeah, artist trading cards are really cool. What sort did you used to do? Like, what kind of subject matter did you used to do in them? Or do you still do them? Sorry. All right, that turned out pretty cute. Oh, Indy, if you don't mind just paying the price of postage, that would be good. I'd rather it go to a home where someone will care for it. Do you mind if I crop it to like 8 by 10? Um, can you email me your postage address and then I'll get back to you with a quote for how much it'll cost? I'm sorry, a mailing address. My email is becca.hilburn@gmail.com. Yeah, if I do any requests for anyone and you want it, it's just the cost of postage. In the future, I'll probably start taking commission requests, but I guess I'm feeling lazy tonight. All right, thank you. All right, so that is Aster. Next, I have Elise, who is so cute. That's Kitty Cat's Village character, and she is adorable. Ugh. Oh, she's so cute. Is she a Sylveon OC? She sort of looks like one. I know she's a Pokemon trainer. Oh, she's so cute. Oh, nice. Oh, it's romance novels. Aster loves romance novels. Oh, somebody sent in another one? Okay, good. I was like, I can do 3 requests. I cannot do 4 tonight. Okay, let us. Hmm? I know. That's going to be 3 total. I guess I can take one more. Is it pronounced Tiara or Tyra? I'm sorry, my head is shot tonight, so you're just gonna have to be patient with me. But if you're looking for something, so with the free ones, I'm kind of just drawing it whatever style I feel like drawing. But if you are looking for something a little bit more detailed, or like the one I did in the stream earlier this week, and I'm pulling up an example to show you somewhere. Give me a second. Oh, thank you, Julie. I try to make it worth y'all's while. There we go. Okay. Okay, so if you're looking for something like this, it'll be 15. And honestly, anybody I've already drawn for, or if I've started for, if you want me to do one like this, let me know. My brain is starting to frizzle out, so I should probably go get a cup of water. Oh, thank you. I think what I might do in the future is do the Power Hour stream starting at 7. Okay, so I am working on Kitty Cat's Village sketch right now, and I have kind of a base sketch, and I kind of like the concept, but I'm not happy with how it's turning out. It just feels kind of disjointed, so I taped some tracing paper on top of it, and I'm going to kind of rework it from there. Oh, Tyra, thank you. Okay. If you're fine with it just being a sketch, like what I've been doing like this, I don't mind doing it. It'll just be the cost of shipping it to you. And with any of these kind of doodly sketches, if you decide you really like it, but you'd like it as something inked or something watercolor, you can always email me and we can talk about doing that as well. That's true. I was kind of inconsiderate, I guess, when I picked Fridays, because Fridays work for me, but they probably don't work for everybody. What I kind of figured I would do with this, because like I've like flirted with doing streams before, and I never really do it consistently. So what I was thinking about doing with this is just doing it for fun, and like when it quits being fun, then I won't do it, or I'll reschedule, or you know what I mean. Like I can't. I'm not really in a position to take on like another project, but I like talking to you guys, and I like getting to draw with you guys. So this is fun for me. Oh, she's so cute. Plus, lately, like 90% of what I've been doing has been painting 7-inch Kara pages on the floor. So, even just doing doodles with you guys is a nice change of pace. Oh, 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 okay, you gave it. So, Power Hour, it's because I've been reading Stephen King's Revival, which is about electricity and sort of a pastor and a child in the community, and bad things happen, but not those kind of bad things happen. It's like a Stephen King kind of bad things happen, right? Um, and the pastor character has a televangelizing show that's like the Daniel Charles Hour of Power. And since I'm always talking about art supplies and really pumped up about art supplies, I thought it would be fun to do sort of like the art supply power hour where we proselytize art supplies. Yeah, exactly like that. Where I'm singing the good news about comics and drawing cute things. Oh no, Oshawott, I am not doing you any favors, Oshawott. You're usually so cute. Not when I draw you. There needs to be like a spit take. Wait, what on earth are you saying in my chat room, sir? That is not allowed. You take that behavior elsewhere. Well, what can I say, Kitty Cat's Village? When you put cute in, you get cute out, and she's already really cute, so it would be hard for me not. I'd have to like go catastrophically wrong for her not to be cute out. And I wish I could guarantee that nothing bad would happen in here, but it seems like Joseph is out to stir some pots. Okay, so she's got a split in her dress. So I'll put it right here. Oh, and if you guys ever want me to walk through why I'm doing what I'm doing, or like how or whatever, just let me know. I don't mind. In fact, I have had to stop myself because I've been doing these character design videos that I'm going to share soon, and so I have to, like, I draw it and then I narrate it, and I'm having to stop myself from narrating the, okay, now we want to draw some happy little swooshes. I mean, I will, if you're into it. I don't know what shoes she's wearing, so I will just draw some cute little flats. Okay, I want to think about, there we go, the shape her dress makes when it's wrapping around. Because even though we're not drawing it fully, you can see it from the other side. And that way I can shade it in. And you see where the dress kind of curls here? I went ahead and I drew the underside of the fabric as well. And her dress has ribbons, which cannot see in this view, but you would be able to see it. Shawat. And even though her dress is a darker color in the reference here, I'm not going to do that because it would make it look like her dress is just like it's split up the middle without anything kind of in between necessarily. So I think it's probably better if I leave it like this. I will draw happy little swishies for you if you wish. Drawing is my happy escape, so. All right. So that is Kitty Cat's Village. Super cute character, Elise. And I have if you want me to do $15 worth of different shades of purple swishies, I can do it for you, but next week. Because I still have a kitty cat, and then I think I have a Miku to draw. Oh no, Bowie's mad! What? Sorry. I'm not gonna hold you in my lap. I'm drawing, I'm working. All right, so next I have Bluechini, which is a cute blue cat. And when I say cute, I don't necessarily mean like cutesy woo, but I think it's cute. I think it looks like a she. I think she's cute. I should probably draw her with some blue pencils. Let's see what I got. Parvita. If I am saying your name incorrectly, please let me know. So we have here some Zebra Sensations colored pencils. These are neat because they are mechanical colored pencils, so you don't have to sharpen them. And we also have here some Crayola. This is their signature line, and it's like their tricolor color pencils in their signature line. So we'll see what I can get up to. Yeah, they are. I think they're pretty neat. In fact, I thought I'd picked up some more colors for them. I'll have to go digging. I have a feeling I'm going to have to draw her a couple of times. I really like her character design. I am just kind of... I usually draw like saccharinely cute characters. So I want to make sure I capture her personality and I don't just default to like, oh, Becca just likes to draw cute things. And it's kind of like this. Like a lot of what I do at cons is in this kind of chibi style, but I usually will do it in non-photo blue pencil. Ah, Bowie! Laying on my art. That's what I get for tossing it on the floor. I usually sketch them with like a non-photo blue pencil, and then I'll ink them with the Kuretake Fudego Kochi, and they're usually done on cardstock, and then I put them in page protectors for people to pick them up. So usually what happens, I mean, people are sort of welcome to hang around and watch. It depends on the show. Like if things are really busy, it's easier for me if they go enjoy the show, but I know some people like to watch, so I don't ever tell anybody to go away, but I also can't necessarily make conversation with them. That's not a trick question. So I did review the Paul Rubens regular set. I think that's available on my channel, but I'm not sure. I would totally review the glitter set, if someone sent it to me, or if you guys just give me enough time to kind of get to that. I know the Frugal Crafter reviewed them, but she and I sometimes have really different opinions because we do different kinds of stuff. Also, when I do con commissions, my style tends to be very consistent. It tends to always have a certain kind of look to it. Which, like what's fun about doing this is I'm doing these a little differently than what I would normally do. So I'm just kind of drawing what I think is pretty and what I think is cute. When I do con commissions, they're usually always in that set style unless the commissioner wants something else. And the reason I do it like that is because it allows me to be able to put out a consistent quality of work even if I feel sick at the show, or even if I'm very busy or I'm distracted the whole time. So it means my customers always get kind of the same quality. Because I don't have time at cons, I don't normally have time to redraw things. Yeah, that is cool. Are they when the ribbon set is swatched, is it like full saturation color with some sheen? Because I recently reviewed, although it's not available yet, it's up in my Instagram stories. I recently reviewed the Hydra Color set. And they're pretty. They're very similar to the Fine Tech iridescent set. Oh! A magical person has delivered my con commission book. What a kind soul. So this is what I have out on the front of the table for people to flip through. And it's just kind of like a little menu of what I offer at shows. So I offer like 3 tiers of at-con watercolor. I don't like doing pencils just because it's really hard on my hand. I like doing inks in two-tone. They're easier. And two-tone is alcohol marker, and then I ink on top of it. So this is kind of what it looks like. I'll scoot that over a smidge. So like the large hands, the large feet, the very large eyes, the big ears, it's just kind of consistent regardless of who I'm drawing. And then this would be an example of the two-tone style. So you guys can see I do the underdrawing with colored lead, and I leave that in there, and then I use two different shades of the same marker family, and then I ink on top of that. So these are what I will fill at commissions, and then further in is commissions I'll take, but I can't fill them at the con. So these are generally less expensive, easier to do sort of watercolor commissions. I also offer nicer things, but since my main audience at cons is teenagers, they don't usually have a lot of money, so we don't normally get this far in the book. It usually is either the inks or the marker or the very simple watercolors. No, it's the tin Hydra Color uses. My chair is rolled over, and I'm sorry. It's the tin Hydra Color uses to house that particular set. And they're like a small handmade watercolor company. I found out about them through Instagram, and I think they have magnetic, yeah. So they have magnets in the bottom which hold them in the set. And give me a sec. Doing all that made my phone lose its mind. Yeah, they're selling the Paul Rubens on Amazon as well. They seem a little pricey compared to the Wish price. No, 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 no glitter paint, no, no. I'm having flashbacks to Burn It Box, no. Unless you're gonna send like iridescent paint that you've made, and then I feel differently. But no, no more Burn It Box, please. I really like this character's design. She kind of reminds me of like Double Fine, like Raz kind of from Oh, my brain is not working. It's a game about telekinesis. It's set at a camp. Psychonauts. Thank you. Oh, thank you. No, wait. Where is A2CAF? It's in Michigan, isn't it? Ann Arbor, Michigan. Yeah, I usually try to do A2CAF, which is like a library show, um, in Ann Arbor.
Detroit's like way further east, I think. 3 hours away.
Okay, I do not know. Oh, this art is so cute. I love, not that you guys can see it, but the diamond eyes are very cute. Okay, so a skirt. Also, I don't normally talk out loud to myself. I haven't done too many art shows. Cons are probably pretty much the same though. Um, I think the only difference is that at cons, at anime cons, and this isn't true for everyone, but for my work to sell, I have to have my energy level up, cranked to like 11 the whole time, um, which is getting harder to do as I'm getting older. So I've been trying to do more library shows and more art kind of shows. But here in Nashville, the art shows, some of them will let me table, but my work isn't really a good fit for them. And as for Utah, I wouldn't mind going to Utah. I have a few friends who live in Utah. It's more just kind of getting into those kind of shows. And Iowa has the Billy Ireland Museum, and they've also got Comics Crossroads. Isn't that the Jeff Smith show? Like, I've heard really good things about it. Yeah, I did, oh, Matsuricon? No. It was in winter, and there was a blizzard. What is it? OhioCon! I did OhioCon. Oh my goodness. I'm originally from Louisiana, so I do a lot of shows kind of along the Gulf Coast area. And I don't have a problem doing shows elsewhere. It's more, um, it has to be a big enough show that I can kind of earn my transportation back. And then it's also getting into shows. Like anime cons have gotten incredibly competitive to get into.
And I think your face will hit the phone.
What? Oh, wait, give me a sec. I will fix this. I'm so sorry. Thank you for bearing with me in glitch cam. I would try to turn off my screen, but I don't know if it will actually, like, end the stream. Okay. Please stop. Stop, phone. Okay. Yeah, in fact, I just got waitlisted for my favorite show around here. And I'm hopeful, but it's not surprising that I got waitlisted because there are 24 total tables and they had 225 people apply. So cons have gotten, like anime cons and indie comic cons have gotten really, really hard to get into. I mean, people are like, "Oh, you should do SPX," and it's like I have put in for SPX every year since 2013. I've only gotten in once. I would love to do SPX. I know, right? Like, do you? So I have my Samsung attached to like a really nice mic arm, and it's rubber banded to my camcorder. But I have trouble. I can't get my camcorder to talk. Yeah, only 24 tables. The A head is super, and she's trying really hard. Yeah. Oh, you know a lot of people who put in for MTAC, or are you talking about SPX? XPX is way more tables. I mean, I make good money at MTAC and I like doing MTAC, but I wouldn't travel halfway across the country either. Oh, I think I know the one you're talking about, Indie Kitty. Oh, Heidi, another friend of mine got waitlisted too. Um, I think then this is me just spitballing. I think it's because a lot of 2D artists, like what I do, put in. And I mean, when you're competing for a very limited number of tables, and we all do 2D art, you know, I mean, I don't think it's a personal thing. And I'm just really grateful that I was able to table with them for as many years as I've been able to table with them. In fact, I asked them if I don't get off the wait list, I asked to be a volunteer. I think both of those are going to be good. Yeah, Samoas are really good, especially if you like coconut. Just want to see if it'll work over color pencil, since color pencil's so waxy. Yeah, honestly, that's a lot of what we're seeing anyway. In terms of Girl Scout cookies, Joseph bought some from one of his coworkers whose daughter's in Girl Scouts. I mean, we don't even get trick-or-treaters around here, which bums me out because I like seeing their costumes. All right, so we have a Miku left. Do I want to do Miku in... A color? No, I'll just, give me a sec. Let me think about this. Wait. Really? They probably just let her come in when she said she was selling Girl Scout cookies. I would be like, enter. I mean, shoot. Girl Scout cookies is like the magic word. Ah! I dumped all my pencils. Nice! Well then, I am drawing your fave. Okay, so this is the last request for the evening. If anybody sends in any more requests, I will do them next week on next week's stream. So, let's see if I can fix my phone. And I really want to thank you guys for your patience with my technical difficulties. I really appreciate it. It has been really fun. Which Miku song? That's right. Everybody has to list their favorite Miku song, and I will have to Google a Miku song to say is my favorite. So, something cute with Miku. I mean, she is very cute, like, to begin with. That's what makes it hard, is she's already, like, super cute. Really gotta get a better phone situation. I thought about it, but the tone of this stream did not seem like that would be a good fit. So when I'm doing character commissions, kind of like this one, I think about what I like the best about the character, and then that's kind of what I turn the focus into. And for Miku, I love the giant pigtails. This might be one of the ones I have to draw over. Okay, I want her to kind of look like she's falling, but happy falling in a field of music. Oh, this is easy for me. It's more my brain's gonna die. Just from like, because I'd had a migraine earlier today, and I'm doing good now, but my brain, I can already start to feel myself fritzing out. Actually, if we're gonna compare doing a stream to a con, honestly, I'm wearing Legend of Zelda pajama bottoms and a t-shirt, and I didn't have to put on any makeup, and you guys don't have to see my face. So even though I'm smiling, if I fall into RBF, y'all aren't gonna know. And I can draw with whatever medium I feel like, and I don't have to get someone to watch my table if I have to use the bathroom. So like, comparatively, this is nice. This is like really, in terms of taking commissions, this is where I would rather, I mean, I like drawing for people in person. I love seeing people's faces when they pick up commissions. But like, anime cons, often the only thing that makes me stand out is that I'm one of the few artists still offering traditional media commissions. So She looks like she's sitting in like a weird armchair. So, there's been cons where I filled like 100 commissions at the show, which was horrible. Horrible. That was a 5-day show though, so I had time to kind of do them, but it's horrible having to like pump out commissions all weekend and not get to go to the bathroom. So this is like nice and easy. RHF, resting something face. If you're thinking it's a resting happy face, the answer to that is no. Yeah, if anybody else is having audio issues, let me know. I don't know what I can do about it this time, but it's definitely something I can look into in the future. Yeah. But you're streaming your desktop, right? Well, if this becomes a more regular thing, I have a webcam. It's a nice enough webcam, and I can have it pointing at the art, and I can, zhuzh this up, to use the word of today. I've like talked about streaming, and I've tried streaming so many times, and I'm never good about like keeping up with it. I thought I might be good at keeping up with it if we left it like really low key. And my chat has died, so I apologize for that. Like, it's not updating. And I hear Joseph typing, so I'm sure y'all are saying stuff. This might be a Miku I have to redraw. I don't necessarily think 90s anime is a problem. I just don't know if it feels like Miku. I'm gonna flesh it out a little bit more and see. Well, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna delete the submissions that I drew tonight. No offense to you guys. It is not that I don't love your awesome art. I do. It's more like I am ADHD and I will forget. And then I'll just draw the same 3 people every week. Actually, what could be kind of cool is if she was like sitting on a throne made out of music. Oh my gosh, how did I forget which way notes go? How dare you? You can go either way. How dare you? I could kind of get into her sitting on a throne made of music notes. Okay, me drawing that much was, that's a bad idea. Like, I should not have done that to myself. That was a poor choice. Poor life choice. But, I mean, there's something about, like, the audience, when people really like your art, and you guys know how this is, people really like your art, and they're having a really good time, and you're having a really good time, and they're coming to you with these really fun commission ideas, and it gets hard to say no. In fact, I usually tell Joseph before a show, like, hey, you need to cut me off on Sunday at 3. I can't take any more commissions on Sunday at 3. And also, I like felt like I had to, not like the people were making me do it, but finances, you guys probably understand this too. Finances, when you're an artist, you can't count on them. So a lot of it is like make hay while the sun shines kind of stuff, you know? And traditionally, commissions have not sold well for me online, although maybe that's going to change. So I've gotten really used to like my personality and my tables selling my commissions. How do I want to dress this Miku? She has so many options. Her Nendos are also, her Nendoroid, those are like little pop together dolls. I don't have any Nendos. I mean, I have Nendos. I don't have any. Wait, yes, I do. Okay. So that would be a Cardcaptor Sakura Nendo. And what's really cute about these is you can pose them in different ways and you can change their faces. So Miku's Nendos are really cute. Princess-like. Okay. All right. Okay. Princess-like. On her throne of music. She's so cute. Princess-like. Princess Miku. Her cherry blossom figurines are so cute. Yeah. Yeah, doing it flexible makes it a lot easier. Well, I'd been talking about backing off on anime cons for a long time. And oh, that's a really pretty dress on her. And this figure's so cute. And like I really mean to do that. And that's one of the reasons I've started teaching through community ed is it's another source of income, so I'm not so reliant on busting my hands. Okay, princess like. Yeah. Yeah. So I was thinking about the point Joseph just made. A lot of cons. I don't know if it's true for art shows, but a lot of cons will really crank down the AC because as people come in, it starts getting crazy hot, and people in cosplay can get overheated. And I understand and I respect all that, but when you're in the artist alley, you're stuck at a table. You're not moving. Your blood's not going. So I put a lot of strain. Yes, you would know. I put a lot of strain on my hands in these really cold environments. I like her head, and I don't like what I'm going to do with her dress. Like, I can already tell I don't like it. Well, I will always redraw it if it's not good. You know what I should have done? I know what I should have done. I like her face, so I'm going to redraw her face. Give me a sec. Okay, work. I think you're in a really good position right now okay, so when I finished college, the industry changed a lot, like right after I finished college. But I think you're in a much better position than I'm in because you're aware of these changes. You know it's going to change a lot. And there's also a lot of online people who want to see you succeed. They want to help you. So I think I'm always hesitant to encourage people. Thank you, Julie. I'm always hesitant to encourage people to pursue comics as an industry because right now the comics industry is a mess. We don't have a union. We don't have health insurance. We don't get to take sick days. I mean, it's a mess. So my other friend Kino Kitsune, who's in the chat, chose kind of how I see the other path, whereas she pursued a different line of study, but is very passionate about drawing comics and draws comics very frequently. So they have like a steady day job that they can rely on. And I wish I had finished out my environmental science degree because I'm having here in Nashville, I have had a lot of trouble finding work. Oh, yes, I do. Thank you. So, and I'll say this bluntly, I went to SCAD for my graduate degree, and I really thought that degree was going to open the doors for me. Like, I thought the skills I would learn there and that degree was going to be all I really needed. And then I moved to Nashville, and no one here is impressed by that, which is okay. Like, but it was a very eye-opening experience. Oh no, so, like, I admire you, Kitsune, because you have a steady job. You know what your week's going to look like, and you can plan around that. So you can make smarter choices regarding your art. You can decide not to do shows if you don't want to, or you can decide not to take commissions if you don't want to. I mean, but I think with you, it's also a vocation. Like, if you didn't really love it, you wouldn't have put as much time as I know you put into it. Like, you don't have to do it, and yet you do it anyway. So I guess where I'm going with the art degree is if you are able to, double major. And Julie's right. I do have videos about that, and if there's ever something you want to know more about, you can always email me. I've gotten very hesitant about talking candidly about my experiences online because sometimes people take that as an invitation to use me as a punching bag. So I made it a resolution a couple years ago that I wasn't going to put myself in that position anymore. But yeah, like that. Yeah. Well, even art and like graphic design, if you live in the right area, like that might have made me more saleable here in Nashville. And when I was in Savannah getting my degree, I actually did a lot of teaching TA-ships because that was kind of my my like, okay, if I can't draw comics professionally, I love helping people. My mom was a teacher, her sister is a teacher, you know, I like to teach. That's what I'll do. Um, and I had been told at the time that having a master's degree in sequential art would be enough for me to be able to teach, that I wouldn't need further certificate. I mean, I might need to get a certificate, but I wouldn't necessarily need a lot more class or a lot more schooling. And that that isn't the case. So recently, like last summer, I went and talked to the head of HR in the school district I grew up in, St. Charles Parish in Louisiana. Because if I'm going to teach, I really want to teach art there, because that's a community that doesn't have a lot of encouragement art wise for their kids. And it was historically very comics adverse when I was growing up. So I wanted to like go and pay it forward kind of thing. And apparently, even with my master's, I need to go, if I want to teach there and teach talented art or any kind of art there, I need to go back for another year and spend $4,000 to get another degree. Or I can teach if I can proof, it's like proof of mastery, and my MFA isn't proof of mastery enough, and he wasn't really sure what would count as proof of mastery. He was like, well, if you've done gallery shows, and it's like, I'm a comic artist, dude. Most of us are not allowed to do gallery shows. So, I don't know. I don't want to tell you what to do, and I don't want to discourage you from what you want to do. Because, you know, people sure tried to talk me out of it, and I did what I was going to do either. I just want to be honest with you, because I think a lot of people who love comics tend to get really evangelical about how wonderful comics is. And I think comics as a medium is wonderful. I just think comics as an industry is not where I'd hoped it would be. Yeah, yeah, it's true. I don't know who. I'm kidding, pretending it's gonna even out. So when I got my first degree, the Rising Stars of Manga contest had just ended with Tokyo Pop. So I had really thought the comics industry was more manga influence friendly than it was. So I went into SCAD and I had a really rude awakening, because since Tokyo Pop tanked as a company, that was a sign to everyone who was publishing at that time that manga was toxic, which we know is not true. But try convincing a publisher who wants to believe that it's not true. Try convincing them that Tokyo Pop made really bad financial choices, and that's why it didn't work. Yeah, I mean, and then we get into like art as a vocation where like we don't have a choice about whether or not we do it. And that's actually what happened to me. I was actually in my second year of college, and I was taking environmental science classes, and I've always enjoyed science. I've always enjoyed earth sciences. And I was prepared to like switch degrees entirely. So I tried to go a month without drawing, and I got horrifically depressed, because if I'd gone into environmental science, then I would have worked as a field agent. In Louisiana, you usually start, unless you have a biology degree, you start as a field agent and then you kind of work into a different office position kind of thing. And I like field work anyway, but if I was doing field work, then I wouldn't be able to draw regularly. And I got really, really depressed. And it wasn't from outside factors. Like the only thing that had changed in my life was that I wasn't drawing every day. So I finished it as a minor, because I really do love environmental science, but I just couldn't major in it, and I couldn't see myself doing it as a career like that. So I also understand like art as a vocation. I mean, I feel like that's also, you know, Kitsune's life and Julie's life is, even though they work in other fields and they may love those other fields too, they still go home and they spend hours staying up late working on art, making things. So, and I mean, for every person, not for every person, but for a lot of people who have a similar story to mine, there's someone who had like the complete opposite happen, and art has been a wonderful experience for them. And so, you know, yeah, yeah, I can see that because you're already putting in a lot of work to attain that one major. And unfortunately, right now in the U.S., it seems like a lot of it used to be for some people's experiences. It used to be that if you go to school and you get a major in something, you can find work elsewhere. Like just having achieved a degree is enough. And now employers can be very picky, and they can demand that you have a degree in exactly what they're hiring for, even if it's just like an assistant position. All right. Let's do a better Miku now. Oh, no way! Thank you, Lindsay, for dropping in. Yes! Yes! Any of the waiting is wasting for people like me. That one. That's what she's thinking. Gonna give her like a princess jellyfish kind of princessy poof. Hey Andrew, good evening. And I also apologize. I don't really mean to lecture you on like what to do with your art life, because it really is different for everybody. I know. That's why I apologize. Ah, I am from Louisiana, but I live in Tennessee. I think what it boils down to, if I could go like back in time, I would not I would still pursue an arts degree, I would probably double major in environmental science. And then when I went for my master's degree, I would really, I mean, I did try to network and make friends, but like I would really push that. So I think that's how, and I would have kept updating my DeviantArt because I keep watching all these social networks that I'm part of quit being useful for artists. Like Instagram has kind of hit the skids for a lot of people. Oh, the Becca hour is not something. Do people not talk during their streams? I don't shut up. I'll try to have some funny stories for y'all next time. How about that? Also, though, like, if you're going to school and they're paying you to go, go. Get that education. That's my big concern for people who are younger than me who want to go to art school is the amount of debt that they're, some of them. I mean, if someone's paying, I don't know. My mom has watched my streams and she says it's like watching paint dry. So I, I guess it's like whatever your tolerance level is. That is amazing. A 50K scholarship. Go, girl. For sure, go. Holy smokes. I am so sorry, Lindsay. That is awful. I feel like there has to be some lawyer doing a class action suit for y'all. All right, so I think I'm done drawing for this evening. Unless you guys want to see specific things demonstrated, which I don't mind doing, or specific products. I almost said projects. Gee whiz, that's awful. pretty proud. I got 5, right? No, can I count? 5, yeah. 5 cuties done tonight. That's pretty good. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Okay, is there any sort of, is there a medium you guys are interested in looking at products from? Do you guys want to look at some of the stuff I've recently reviewed, but it's not edited yet, or what? 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 That's awful, Lindsay. What? 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 More watercolor. How do I feel? Oh, you know how I feel. You know how I feel about acrylic gouache. I'm terrible at it, but my friend Electric Abyss is really good with it, so I'm jelly. Yeah, I can pull some random stuff out of my yet to be reviewed chest. I'm down with that. And I always have more watercolor. I will attempt and possibly fail to pull that out a bit. All right. And y'all can continue your conversation. I'm not trying to interrupt it. I know people can do multiple things at any given time. Okay. So, do I like Sakura Koi watercolor? Yeah, so give me a sec. Be right back. Oh, this is a Jerry Q set. That is not. Yes, I tried it with markers a while back. So Sakura Koi is one of those brands that I know has people have conflicting feelings about these watercolors. I use these for my con watercolors. I like them, but I don't do a lot of layers with them. They can be a little bit opaque. They can be a little bit chalky. So if you handle your watercolor like you're painting with gouache, you'll probably like them. But if you're looking to do a lot of really thin glazes, a lot of light layers to build up your color, these are not necessarily the best. But I like the pans, and of like inexpensive kind of introductory watercolors, in my opinion, these are some of the best ones. But I mean, it kind of varies. You know, I have friends who really hate these watercolors. Have I tried crescent render paper? Yes. Give me a second. I thought? Yes. Okay. Wait, no. I think it might be in here. So, I tried it. I only used it once. And I thought I had an example in here with my marker stuff, but maybe not. I'm not a fan of crescent render paper personally because I feel like it kind of desaturates. This is crescent render paper. I feel like it kind of desaturates the color compared to like Strathmore Bristol, and obviously this piece is a lot more worked, but I used the same browns in the hair and the same skin tone colors, and I find that the render paper desaturates. And I don't know, for how I marker, it tends to make it look kind of muddy. Oh, can y'all see it? Yes. There we go. Arteza watercolors. So I literally just... I haven't done the field test yet, but I literally just... Where are the swatches? Here are the swatches. Just finished the unboxing swatch for this. So these are straight from the tube, and these were dried in a half pan palette, which is somewhere in my art supply hoard that I don't know where. And both of these were swatched on, this is fluid watercolor paper, I want to say. So they are swatched on cotton rag watercolor paper because I wanted to really give them a chance to shine if they were going to shine. If you're going to get Arteza, they all of these colors lifted pretty seriously. They are all, especially if you dry them, they're all semi-opaque. I have a feeling they're going to lift, and I have a feeling they're going to turn to mud too. Turn to mud on the paper. So I'm looking forward to the field test because then I'll know for sure how I feel about them. But as it is, I would say, because I bought these to test because I've started doing resource stuff for libraries and for schools. And I wanted an inexpensive watercolor that would perform well, that was in a tube that they could kind of divvy out for their students. So this is one of the first ones that I tested because a lot of schools they don't buy from Blick. They buy from Amazon, believe it or not. So I wanted something that was easily available on Amazon that wasn't super expensive. So I would recommend this even for like high school classroom use. I mean, it's $15 for 24 tubes, but they handle like Reeves. So if you're okay with painting with Reeves, and Reeves doesn't have to be the worst either. So this is from a comparison series that is going to be available to my backers or to art nerds. And what I did is I did the same illustration 3 times on cotton rag watercolor paper, Reeves, Cotman, and Winsor & Newton. And the Reeves I dried them in half pans and worked with them like that. And I liked them a lot better than using them from a tube. So Reeves isn't as bad as I remember it being. And I kind of look forward to seeing how the Arteza compare to Reeves. But, you know, I think it still looks a little bit, it's just not kind of the quality I really wanted. Okay. It was an exciting question. Do I know of a good tape that blocks out watercolor bleeding? The washi tape, papers tape, make them less sticky. Okay. That is a really, really, really good question. And unfortunately there are answers, there aren't easy answers. So, I use 3M blue painter's tape to tape down my pages when I paint them. And even this will rip slightly sometimes, but not all the time. And yeah, I'll adhere them to my arm, you know, so that they'll be less sticky, and it'll still happen. And washi tape, different manufacturers do different quality jobs. So I'm going to pull out like a little bit of a variety. So Amazon sells this really cheap washi tape that comes in like packs of 15 different colored rolls for like $15. This one is low. It's kimono tape. This one is low tack enough that if you kind of stuck it to your skin a few times, I think you could get away with it not tearing the paper. But would it repel watercolor? Probably not. Whereas MT makes this really nice waxy coating washi tape that will probably tear the paper regardless. So, I mean, off the top of my head, I can't necessarily think of a good tape that will both block water and not tear the paper. And I wish someone would invent it, because I've tried using masking Frisket film. And I like it with Copic markers and alcohol markers, but with watercolor, the watercolor seeps under the adhesive and it makes a gooey residue. And I'm like hit or miss when it comes to colorless masking fluid. Pabio makes a masking fluid pen, and I know Kino Kitsune likes it. And I want to like it. Like, I'll show you guys. This is another upcoming video. So this was all masked off with this pen here. And I did it on a cellulose paper, this is Strathmore, and then I did it on Blick Premier watercolor paper, which is cellulose, because I thought maybe it would tear the cotton rag paper, so I wanted to test that. And I was concerned about color seepage, so I tested 4 different types of watercolor. I tested Gansai Tambi because that has a animal hide binder, so it's actually got a different binder than most watercolors. I tested mermaid markers. I tested Viviva, the dye-based watercolor sheets, and I tested, I think that is the Core Mini palette up there. And it blocks really well, and it can mask smaller areas, but I have a problem where the nibs, and this is a replacement nib, the nibs get clogged really easily. Even if I soak it in rubbing alcohol, I still can't clear it off. So something else you can use to mask, and this is kind of your mileage may vary, is gum arabic. What's neat about masking with gum arabic is it has a softer line to the mask. Let me see if I can find. So for this illustration, you can still see some shiny. I masked off the grass. I painted the grass and then I masked it off with gum arabic, and then I painted the orange on top of it, and it gives kind of a softer edge because I find that masking fluid leaves too hard an edge and it looks like you can tell I masked it off. So unfortunately I can't really recommend a good tape for masking that I can guarantee won't tear your paper, but I hope I was able to provide some alternatives. Heat the tape. I'm gonna try that. Ooh. Sorry, I'm reading through y'all's replies and copying suggestions that I think are interesting. Oh, Rubens tape. Okay. So you can let it dry on the paper. You don't have to wash it off, but you can just use a brush and some clean water and a paper towel and just kind of blot it up. And I was not super careful about removing all of it because you don't have to. I just removed it in the areas where it was overlapped. Like you could tell the orange was on top of the gum arabic. So, y'all got anything else for me? Or, it's been 3 hours. We can call it a night. I don't have to hold y'all hostage all night. I don't. And you can also save up ideas for next week. And my chat is not necessarily refreshing. So, these are some things that I have coming up. I don't know when they're coming up because between me getting to them and my editor editing them and then me scheduling them, it could take a while. But a marker eating how dare a marker eating contest. Okay, you win. Something else I am working on in the future, and I've already started this, is so I think I mentioned earlier in the stream that I've given myself arthritis from working in awful working conditions because I am a stubborn person. So I've been kind of starting to do mechanical drawing pencil reviews with the intention of like specifically selecting pencils designed for comfort. So these are all from Walmart. I wanted to include things that you don't have to go to Japan or go to San Francisco to find. So these are all at Walmart. These are all should be fairly easy to find. And then I also I've been collecting some from like when I went to Japan and when I've gone to San Francisco. And then some of these are also just from Amazon, like the Sumo grips are from Amazon, and these are actually really good. So what I am specifically looking for the most part, are pencils that have a cushy grip or a rubberized grip or a gel grip, something to kind of protect your hand, because I don't know about you guys, but I bear down too hard on my pencils, or pencils that just have interesting mechanisms, are a little bit more ergonomic. And Julie, maybe you can help me with this one because you're a nurse, so you would know what might be more hand healthy. So eventually these will come out, and I can show you guys in a minute what I've done with some of the ones I've already started, because I have a younger brother who has kind of a writing disability, so he really needs big pencils with big cushy grips. So my mom's got quite a collection of those sort of pencils, and she let me borrow some to review. So what I did for that is I wrote a little blurb with blue lead to kind of see how often the blue lead would snap, how comfortable it was to hold. Then I did a blue lead sketch, and then I changed out the lead and I did a graphite sketch. And I mean, normally I would say I need about a week with a mechanical pencil to know whether or not it's a good one, but this allowed me to rule out some of the worst offenders very easily and very quickly. And that's just practice sketches. Oh my goodness, yeah. So the ones I'm really excited about are these big chunky ones here. And I haven't been able to find them in number set in 0.7 except in this combo pack. But you can already see how cushy that grip's going to be. Yeah, Joseph suggested I grew them. Oh yeah, another thing I bought along these lines are a variety of grips from the Dollar Tree, but also from the store called The Educator in Metairie, Louisiana. And they have a section of grips for children with autism or children with tactile kind of disabilities. And I thought these would be really phenomenal, not just for them, but also for kind of us adults who have put a lot of wear and tear on our hands. So I'm looking forward to kind of working my way through these, because my favorite grips, I don't know if I can grab one easily. My favorite grips are these, and they are made by Stad. They're Kutsuya Kino, is that correct? And they're really hard to find in the US. If you live in San Francisco, you can go get them at Mido, but otherwise you can't really find them on Amazon. So I wanted to find some good alternatives so people don't wreck their hands. So that's going to be coming up. I've been kind of just focusing mostly though on getting my class filled up, because if I don't have enough students in it, I can't they won't let me do the class. So once I get that all kind of settled in again, I can go back to doing, longer reviews. Kutsuwa, thank you. Until I know what it means, I'll never remember it. All right, so I think that's an evening. Would y'all say that's an evening? Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me for the first hour of Power, where we proselytize art supplies. This hour of Power was brought to you by my Making Comics workshop that is being taught here in Nashville, Tennessee from January 24th through the 28th on Thursdays from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. You guys probably know that I do loads of comic and art videos here on my channel. So if you cannot make my class, that's totally cool. Fear not. I have lots of good stuff here for you. And my art nerds also know that I share the course materials that I make for this class over on my Patreon as soon as I'm able to do so. And that also includes class footage. So if you want to be with me in spirit, you can head on over there, and for $2 a month, you can join the Art Nerd community and gain access to this material. And Art Nerds also get, so in the weeks coming up in future Hour of Power streams, I am going to prioritize requests from patrons and Art Nerds. So, as this kind of heats up and more people join us, The best way to get your request in is to be an art nerd, and again, it only starts at $2 a month, so it's really not bad. For those of you who I did sketches for, if you are still around and you want your sketch, it's just the cost of mailing it. And you can email me at Becca, BECCA, Hilburn, HILLBURN, at gmail.com with your mailing address. And I can get back to you with a quote, and then we can take it from there. So thank you guys so much for joining me. I had a lot of fun. Obviously, the stream has been going on for 2 hours and 49 minutes. And I want to thank you guys for spending so much time with me on a Friday evening. I really appreciate it. And if you're going to join me next week, I want you guys to think about what sort of stuff you want to see in next week's Hour of Power stream. So bye, guys. Thank you. Have a good evening. I am hitting the X on my phone. It does not want to X out.